All right, folks. It's Dr. H, your friendly war game guy at the Air Command and Staff College, with you once again. We're going to talk about combat support in this video. So, how do air units interface with ground combat? We're not going to do that through a turn. We're going to do that through some vignettes. If you all want to see a turn of this, we can do it. But we're going to do it through a few vignettes. We've got a pretty simple vignette here. We've got one pretty simple vignette, which is down here, which is where we have these Russian brigades attacking this Polish brigade out here in the nice flat open. We have another one up here where we're going to have this Russian tank division attack this with this headquarters, attack this Italian parachute battalion. We've got some German helicopters that might support, but it's underneath this S-400 SAM battery. And up here we've got a mess of a combat. Sorry, let me get these things set the way that I would like them. And then we have got a couple of Russian brigades, one of which that has already taken some strikes, being attacked by the U.S. Being attacked by the U.S. 7th CAD Division with some Spanish paratroopers up in support. But we've got the full, CAD Division. This is also under the same S-400 battery, but also this is under a Patriot battery. So we're gonna go nuts on this one. It's pretty complicated, but let's start with the easy one. All right, so we're gonna we're going to start here. We're going to designate that these two units here are going to attack this unit. We're going to go ahead and commit all of our combat support. So let's come over here and look and see what we have for combat support. We have here on the strategic display, the Russians have 2 Frogfoots here in combat available in the ready box, so they can fly combat support missions if they want. In the air superiority box, right, these guys have already flown and gone through air superiority, so they're available for escort or intercept. Fulcrums, a pair of fulcrums, and a pair of flanker units. The U.S. has, NATO has, I should say, an F-22, an F-15C. It also has a Rafale and a German Typhoon. And then also here we have an F-35 and A-10. We also have an F-16 CJ. Now I know that the CJs are going out of style, or may have already gone out of style. I keep getting conflicting reports on that, but what is important to note is that this WW means Wild Weasel, which means that it represents dedicated Western seed and D capabilities that do still exist one way or the other. So we're going to keep this in the game like this for now. Don't fret so much about the CJ designator. Just know that these are some guys that are dedicated to seed and D. Let's check out the weather. Weather's clear. AWACS advantage is set to nobody, and air superiority is contested. So this is as contested an environment as possible in the air that we're going to conduct all of this ground support into. Excellent. So we'll close this up and let's come down here to this vignette. So we've got these 2 units attacking. Actually, we're going to reopen it now. And the Soviets, the Russians, I'm going to make that mistake more than once, are going to commit one of these Frogfoots to support this mission. Now, I've moved this Frogfoot down to the map as a reminder. This is personal technique. It's not in the rules, but it helps me keep track of what everybody's doing in the party. And let's see. One thing that we're going to need to grab is going to be our combat results table. Now, our combat results table isn't in Vassal. It's one of the limitations of Vassal. So if you want to follow along with all the combat results calculations, pause the video now and go get a copy of the combat results table for land combat. Otherwise, if you just want to sort of see how the air stuff works out, stick around. But I'm going to go through the combat calculations on the combat results table. All right, so we're going to start by figuring out our combat odds and using our combat value multipliers. Now the Russian unit, if I can find, there we go. Now the Russian units and the Polish units, they're all mechanized and armor units, so there's no armor advantage, there's no mechanized advantage in this one. We are fighting on flat, so we should have to check that. We're not
fighting in an urban. We're not crossing a river. So this is just going to be a straight up calculation. 5 and 4 is 9 against 4. So it's 2 to 1 with a remainder. So 2 to 1 with a remainder. We're on the flat. 2 to 1 is going to be column 9. All right, so lead unit. This top unit for the Russians is going to be the lead unit, so it has an ER of 6. The Polish unit has an ER of 5. That gives us one column to the right, so we're on column 10. Let's see. There are not into a city. Okay, there are no other column shifts that apply. So we're going to now determine combat support. We're going to combat DRMs, and that's where the Frogfoot here comes into play. This middle number, the combat support value, is its modifier in combat support. So it provides a modifier to the die roll modifier. It's going to provide a modifier of 3. If it's supporting an attack, it's -3. If it's supporting a defense, it's +3. That's listed on the chart. Don't worry, you'll get there's a reminder for you if you need a reminder for that. So it's going to be -3, but first we have to see if it shows up. Because it has to go through the air defense fire gauntlet. Now, this Polish unit is out of the Patriot SAM cover. So we're going to use the local defense chart. We're going to use the local SAMs, and we're going to use the local AAA. Right, so combat support units had to fly through detection. If they're detected, they get SAMs and they get AAA. If they're not detected, they don't get any of that. And they might also get intercepted. Good times. So, local chart here. As you can see, we need a 0, 1, or 2 to get a detection. So that's going to be a low roll to start. Let's see what we roll. We roll a 5. That's probably not going to do it, but we'll go through the drill. Target landing hex is within 2 hexes of a HQ. No. Attack helicopter. Air mobile, not an attack helicopter. Versus attack helicopter. No. Transport mission? No. Wild weasels in support? No. Transport combat support mission? Yes. +1, so we're already at 6. Mission hex? No. Overcast? No. Cruise missile? No. Storm? No. Stealth? No. No AX advantage, so we're at 6. That's a big dash. So the Frogfoot is undetected. Had it been detected, when we come down here, we'd roll on the SAM table and we roll on the AAA table. And I'm just going to go through those results now to give you an idea of how this would work, and we'll see it applied later. But I'm going to talk about it now so I can cover everything. So if we get, so if we come up here, we can look at our results. This is very similar to the strike table with one big difference. So if we get an X, it loses a step. If we get an A, it gets the choice to press. Press might mean it gets a modifier, or it takes a step loss. And then down here are the modifiers. Now this is where it works differently than the strike table. If you see a +2 or a +1 on this table, and you get that result, then instead of being a modifier to combat, that's a modifier to this number. So if you get a +2, you subtract 2 from this combat support value. If you get a +1, you subtract 1. So if we got a +2, this becomes a support value of 1. That's how that works. You'll see at least some of these results later because we're flying into deadly SAM batteries and it's going to be crazy. All right. So Frogfoot's going to apply a -3. We're on column 10. So -3, we're not attacking from multiple hexes or tunnels. It's no mounted infantry, no light infantry. There was a remainder, so we're at -4. Let's see. No. Okay, so we're at -4. And we roll a 6. 6 minus 4 is 2. A 2 on the 10 table is going to be a... Sorry about that. My cat just made a lot of noise. Anyway, a 2 on the 10 table is 1 for the attacker and 2 for the defender in a retreat. Nothing to retreat. This Polish unit's eliminated. So we're going to eliminate that. This guy was the lead unit. He's going to take the step loss. Both of these guys get to advance into that hex for eliminating him. And the Frogfoot will now go to the phone box because he has finished his mission. Float. Okay. So let's try this vignette up here. So the 4th Guards Tank Division is going to attack these Italian paratroopers in this urban hex. The Russians are going to provide combat support with this unit here. And NATO is going to provide combat support with this helicopter. And also, we're going to fly an F-35 in combat support for this mission. Okay, cool. So, let's do some combat calculations. So we've got 5 points on the attack. Here, another 5 here. That's 10. If you look here, we've got another 5, so we're at 15. Another 4 is 24. Right, so 5, 10, 15. Sorry, 19. I can do math in public, no less. So we've got 19 going in. No modifiers for these guys. We have a 6. We have a 3 in defense, but leg unit defending a urban hex gets multiplied by 2, so it's a 6. So we had 19 up here, we have 6 here, so we're 3-1 with the remainder. That's our column. So we're 3-1 with the remainder. In urban is going to be column 6. Let's check our column shifts. Our lead unit for the Russians is this tank unit here. It's a 6. The defending unit is a 6, so no shifts there. There are no other supports that come in. They're going to shift the modifiers. So we are going to be on 3-1. 3-1 in urban with no column shifts is going to be column 6 still. All right, so now we have to do our DRMs, which means we need to take a look at the support modifiers. Now we have to see if we have to take a look at these support modifiers. So the question becomes, do these guys make it? We'll start with the helicopter. So we're going to open up our detection. Now, one of the limitations we have in Vassal, in addition to not having the combat results table, is that we don't have the normal S400 counter. We just have to know that it's an 8-8 with a range of 10 hexes. That's definitely within 10 hexes. And then its detection value is 8, and its SAM value is 8. So we'll start by trying to detect the Tigers. We're going to roll the die. We're going to roll a 0. That's going to be early detected. We'll run through the modifiers for drill, but I can tell you right now that's just going to be an early detected result. So target landing hex is within 2 hexes. It is. Of a headquarters, it is. So we're actually at -1. Attack helicopters did not have to move through to get to the target hex. Attack helicopters, local detection only, no. Transport, no. Wild Weasel, no. Combat support mission, yes, +1, so we're back up to 0. Mission hex and mount hex, no. Overcast, no. No cruise missile, no storm. Not stealth units, and there is no AX advantage. So this is just a 0. It's early detected. So the helicopters have been early detected. We're going to go over here. The Russians had the options to intercept them, and they'll take it. And they're going to intercept it with this flanker. Correction. Fulcrum. So these Fulcrums are going to try to intercept these Tigers coming in. So we'll come over here. Now we come to our air combat table. Air combat. All right. So we're going to just fly normal air combat. The Tigers have an air-to-air value of 0 because they have no air-to-air capability. So 4 minus 0 is 0. We're going to roll on the +4 table. The Fulcrums can't fire in long-range combat, but they can fire in standoff. And it is an attack against a 0 air unit, so we're -1. Let's roll the die. And we come up with a 9. -1 is 8. That is actually going to be AD/D. So the Fulcrums have the advantage in the fight where the Tigers can't shoot back. We go to the dogfight. But we do have a modifier of pilot skill. So -1 for that. -1 for attack against no air-to-air. So we're at -2 on the +4. And we roll an 8. -2 is 7. That is an A. So the Tiger aborts out. So it will not provide combat support for this mission. It is done for the day. It is done for this mission.
And the Fulcrum has made his intercept, and he goes to the phone box. Now, the F-35, we have to see if it's detected. So we're going to come back over here to, let's come back up here. Actually, let's just list this. We're going to come here to detection. Remember, it's an 8, so we're going to roll on this table, and we're going to roll the die.
And we're going to roll an 8. That's not going to detect it, but we'll go through the numbers for drill to show you one important factor, and that's certainly one important factor. So -1 within 2 hexes of a headquarters for sure. There's no attack helicopter movement, no attack helicopter local detection. Transport mission, no. Wild Weasel, no. Transport, paradrop, no. It is combat support mission, so +1. Mission hex is in a mountain, so no. Overcast, cruise missiles, no. Storm. +5 versus mission comprised solely of stealth units, which the F-35 definitely is. So we're looking at +6. +8 is 14. Told you it wasn't going to make it, but we did it for the drill. One thing I would point out to you is just with that +5, right, you would need to roll a 0, 1, or 2 to detect the F-35 with the 800, with the 400, just as a heads up. If it's flying alone and unafraid, which it is. So it's going to go in, it's going to provide a +3, because remember, it's supporting the defense. So its combat support value is 3, it's supporting defense, so it's +3. And we'll go through the modifiers. We're not attacking from multiple hexes. Not mounted infantry. It's not light infantry attacking. There was a remainder, so we're at +2. Light infantry defending. Yep. Non-flat. Okay. So yeah, we're defending we're light infantry defending, so we're back up to +3. We're not defending an installation. Not mounted infantry. There are no additional formations. So yeah, this is going to be on column 6. At +3. 9 +3 is 12. That's my maximum. I go over to column 6. 3-1. Attackers take 3 step losses. Defender takes 1. So the lead unit takes 1. We're just going to spread the love. Everybody takes 1. So just to ask the question, did the F-35 matter very much, given that was a bad roll? I know we're all sort of curious. So if we come up here, it did in fact inflict an additional step loss effectively on the Russians, but also that result also gave an additional 1 to NATO. So depends on the way you want to look at that one. Sometimes it is that way. All right, we're going to come up here. We're going to now return the F-35 to the phone box. This combat is complete. Okay, now let's go to the complicated example. Up here, in this example, I'm going to close everything so we can get a good look at it. All right, so we have the entire 1st Cav Division, supported by some Spanish paratroopers, are going to attack this collection from the 2nd Guards Division. This guy's crossing a river, so that's going to be an issue. And we're just going to declare all of our support now. So this headquarters is going to support. It has 1 left. It is going to do it. This rocket artillery is going to support. Hold on. Why is it being this way? There we go. I am totally having a boomer moment here. Support mission. Good enough. And this guy's going to provide a support mission. He's got 1 left.
All right. So for the Russians, we've got a headquarters, a rocket artillery, and a helicopter. And we're also going to fly this last Frogfoot. This is a big fight. We're going to fly in this Frogfoot. Now, we're going to package that with an escort, which is going to be this flanker. So, flanker is going to escort in the Frogfoot. Let's come down here to NATO. All right, this helicopter is going to support. This headquarters is going to support. And NATO is going to put together a big package, so to speak, to get this strike in. So we can name 2 strikers. So we're going to send in the A-10. That's going to provide combat support. We're also going to send this Wild Weasel in as a striker to even up the odds against this S-400. We're going to escort it with this Typhoon. And we're going to escort it with the F-15. So, just to review, Russian support. This headquarters unit, this rocket artillery, this helicopter. This Frogfoot being escorted by this flanker. NATO support. This division headquarters, this helicopter, this A-10 with Wild Weasel and 2 escorts. Excellent. Let's do ourselves an odds let's start doing the odds calculation. So we're going to calculate our we're going to go ahead and calculate our combat odds. Now, the Russian Tank Brigade has a Strike 2 marker on it, so it reduces effectively all the numbers on the marker by 2. So that's a defense value of 2 and an ER of 4, so it won't be our lead unit. The other one has a defense value of 4, so that's a 6 total. And we're going to throw in this headquarters, that's going to make it 11. So we have 11 on the defense with a 6 ERA. The Americans, just NATO in general, so we've got 3 brigades, so we've got 2 brigades here of the 1st Cav that are attacking. That is going to be 14. This guy's attacking, but he's attacking across a river, so he's had. So we're up to 17. The Spanish paratroopers are going to come in. That's going to make it 20. Then we have 25. So it's 25 against 11. So that gets us to 2-1 with a remainder in the flat. Now we can just sort of quickly scan through. Nobody has armor advantage. Nobody has mechanized advantage, right? These guys, while they're leg, they're attacking with armor. So that negates any Russian armor advantage that they might have. We did what we had to do for crossing this minor river. So we've already taken that into account. So we're 2-1 still. 2-1 in the open is going to be a 9 column. All right, so let's do ER. This brigade is the American lead unit, so it's 7. That's the Russian lead unit, so that's 6. So we're going to shift 1 to the right. That's going to be a 10. But we have Russian rocket artillery and support. That shifts us back 1 in favor of the defender, so we're going to go to 9. And again, none of the other ones apply, right? There's no surprise, there's no city, there's no exploitation, combat, or amphibious assault. So we're back on column 9. Now we need to start doing our die roll modifiers, which means now we now have to figure out which of these packages is going to go in. Let's start with the helicopter, right? Because we've already accounted for the headquarters and the rockets, so we have to do the helicopter. We'll start with the helicopter. The helicopter is going to fly in amongst the Patriot batteries. So let me call up my detection chart. The detection value of a Patriot is, it's in the way here, let's move that, 9. So we're on this 9 column. We're going to roll the die. We rolled a 4.
So that could be interesting, right? If we can get a -1 word early detect. So 2 hexes of headquarters, absolutely. So we're at 3. Attack helicopters, no, it didn't move through units. Attack helicopters, not against local detection. Transport, no. Wild Weasel, no. Transport, combat support +1. Mission hex is there. Yeah, none of the others are going to apply. So we're at a wash. We rolled a 4. On 9 is D. So it's detected. We're going to shoot at the Patriot with missiles. Sorry, my other cat, Archimedes, has decided to come get in the way. So 7, SAM value is 8 on a Patriot. So 7, it is, again, -1, but +1. It is -1 because we're close to our unit, we're close to our headquarters. Attack helicopter, no. Overcast, no. Cruise missile, no. A Wild Weasel, no. Storm, no. Stealth, no. Okay, so -1 for the headquarters being close. We rolled a 7, so we're going to go to a 6 on SAM 8 +1. So now this is going to provide a support of this now has a support value of 1, and now we do the AAA fire -1 versus attack helicopter. Naval units, sea transport, so it's just going to be -1. And we roll a 4, that's a 3. We read the 3 line over to the local AA, and that's nothing. We're only going to ever use a local AA in this game. We don't have an AA track like in certain segments of the rules. We're not going to play with those rules. So it's going to be 1 for the... So the Russians are going to get 1 for the helicopter. Let's check out the Frogfoot going in. So the Frogfoot is going to again fly the Patriot battery. We know we're going to get a -1, we're going to get a +1, so it's straight up. It's the same roll as before. And we roll a 6. 6 over here on 9 is D, so it's detected. So we're going to shoot at the Frogfoot with SAMs. No, we don't shoot at the flanker with SAMs. It's hanging out too far away. It's just covering the flight end. Frogfoot's on its own to go in and fly. So, roll a 5 for the SAM table. And we have a... we still get a -1 for where we are, so we're at 4. Overcast, no. Cruise missile, so 4. On SAM 8 is +2. So the Frogfoot's giving +1 so far, or giving 1 so far. And we're going to roll for AAA as well. 3 on the local. We already know that doesn't do anything because we've done all the math on that one. Okay. So, Frogfoot's 1. So the Russians are going to get a total of +2 from support. Let's check out the Apache. The Apache is going to fly in to the S-400, and we're going to roll a 0. We'll go through it for drill, but that's early detected. So -1, +1 against combat support. That's a wash. So we're 0. That's still 0. That's still early detected. So we're going to bring in another Fulcrum. And we go over to air combat. So +4, we already know that the Fulcrum can't shoot at long range. We know it's going to be -1 because it's fighting a 0. It rolls a 6, so 6 becomes 5 on +4 DA. This guy gets flipped over, and he will not participate in the combat. And the Fulcrum goes back to the phone box. All right. Now let's check out the A-10. So right now we're at +2 for Russia on the 9 column, just to remind ourselves where we are. Okay, so the A-10 is now going to try to fly a combat support mission into this area with all of this support. So we come up here to the SAM table. The SAM table, which is over here. We know that the SAM value is 8. We're going to roll a die. And we roll an 8. This one's going to be close. I don't think we're going to make it. Because remember, basic same ideas apply, right? We're within the hex, but it's against a combat support mission. So that's going to end up being a wash. None of this other stuff applies. Actually, it's +1 per Wild Weasel, so we're actually up to 9. 9 reads over to 8. It's nothing. So the A-10 isn't detected. So -4 So for total air support, right? +2 for Russia, -4 for the A-10. So we're at -2 for NATO. All right, so we're going to go to this. We're not attacking 5 or 6 sectors from a tunnel, but we are attacking from 3 to 4. So we're at -1. No mountain infantry. Light infantry is attacking onto a flat, so that doesn't apply. Remain in the eyes calculation, so we're at -4. Light infantry defending, no. Defenders at an installation. Mountain infantry is not defending. Per additional formation, a multi-formation attack does not apply to NATO. So NATO is involved here, but combined attacks from different nationalities does apply. So we're at -3. Note that the different nationalities doesn't apply to the US, the UK, the Canadians, or the Australians working together. There are no Japanese or Chinese in the fight, so the rest of them don't apply. So -4, we roll the die. We rolled a 6. -4 is 2. We read over to the 9. 2 is 1 and 2 are. Okay, so NATO, their lead unit was this guy. He takes a step loss. There we go. Excuse me. Both of these guys will take step losses for the Russians. He was our lead unit, so he has to take one of them. We're going to have him retreat 2 X's to here. This guy will also take one of them because we're going to spread the love on this. We're going to have him retreat up to the headquarters unit. These guys follow up here on the path of retreat, right, as their option. So boom, that combat is over, and we start moving people to the flown box. So the fulcrum, the flanker and the frogfoot, the Eurofighter, the F-15, the A-10, and the Wild Weasel. Sadly, the F-22 did not get an intercept again, so no intercepts for the F-22. Very sad face. And that concludes the video, pretty much. I hope this was useful. These are vignettes of increasing complexity. And that's my story, and I'm going to stick to it for now.